at Train PD. Thank you for being here and joining us today. We got 42 folks on the line, which is great. Um, wow, it's been a wild ride since the last time we met. And I hope you all are taking care of yourselves and your families and trying to get your work done. And we just appreciate everything that you do. And we hope that anything you'll let us know anything that we can do at Train PD to help support you right now. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to talk about the literacy symposiums from Literacy Texas, upcoming webinars, some TOTs in the works, information. Deb's going to show us some of the updates to the new website with TWC on, portal announcements, and then for you guys to have your time. So let's start with some of these announcements. And first up is Paula Bauer.
Thanks, Beth. This is Paula. We have had some changes due to our situation. We do not have the Gulf Coast Literacy Symposium in Pearland scheduled any longer. It's postponed until further notice because it's associated with the school, and the school district has not opened yet. But we do have the South Plains Literacy Symposium that will be online. That's what the possibility they're looking at right now. I don't have a date for that, but I should within the next month, and I'll send it on the listserv in the community of practice. Right now, we're still having our Literacy Texas 2020 conference, though, in August from 2nd to the 5th, and it's going to be in Dallas, in the Sheraton Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Thank you, Beth.
All right, thank you, Paula. We sure appreciate it. Next up is Liz to talk to us about Manager Mondays.
Yes, well, I'm really excited. This coming Monday at noon, we do have Elena Madrid, our TWC program specialist. She'll be sharing about bridging the data analysis gap, and she's focusing on how communication methods will assist you in driving your performance measures. And so we're really excited. We have close to 100 people registered already, so it's going to be a big group. So I hope that you could join us this Monday, and registration is available in the portal. And then on our next slide, we're going to go ahead and talk about some additional topics. This is for May. We will be having Mahalia Baldini, also from the Texas Workforce Commission. She's going to be showcasing the new report, the MSG report 2.0, and this is targeted for administrators. So please join us. Registration will be out very shortly. It's not out yet, but start creating that buzz among your peers. And then in June, we're going to have Elena join us again, and now she'll be focusing on how to use the period of participation report. So we hope to see you then. And then on the last slide, we have some of our dates that are coming up, and that way you could pencil those in your calendar or add them to your Google Calendar to ensure that you get a good virtual seat. That's all I have. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Liz. We appreciate that. And next up is Ms. Olga to talk to us about Workforce Wednesday.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. And a little bit about Workforce Wednesday. I wanted to share with everybody that they occur once a month, 12:30 to 1:30 on a Wednesday, and the dates are listed here. What I wanted to share is that majority of the sessions for the year are already in the PD portal. The only two that are missing are September and October, and those are coming really soon. But I wanted to share that with you, and what I'll do at our next meeting is definitely post the topics in the PowerPoint. But right now, they are all in the PD portal and available for registration except for September and October. And the other thing is if you have ideas, if you have a topic that you really want covered in our Workforce Wednesday webinars, please let me know so that we can continue adding to our offerings. And for April, which is coming up, we have Christopher Sheffield from Birdsville ISD, and he's Birdville ISD, and he's going to be talking about retooling transitions to college to meet ELL student needs and how their program has what they're doing to get their students to the next level with college readiness for their ELL. So join us for that. And then we also have May. Our presentation is with our Gulf Coast partners, workforce partners, and they're going to be talking about targeted plans, preparing students for job search. So join us for these wonderful Workforce Wednesday webinars. We have these individuals with expertise coming and sharing with us. So join us for Workforce Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. So next up is Anne Marie to talk to us about Tech Intel.
Good afternoon, everyone. And yes, I'm excited to announce that we had postponed 2 webinars that were scheduled in March, and they've been rescheduled. And so our April Tech Intel webinar is, we first have part 1 is going to be coming up next week on April 17th, and this is going to be with Ashley Winkle from the Literacy Council of Tyler. And Wakelet is a very interesting digital tool, and it helps you organize all the information on the web, but it has you can do so many different things with Wakelet. So very excited about this Tech Intel. So part 1 will be on April 17th. Registration is in the portal. So we'll go to the next slide. And Ashley will be back on April 24th to talk about Wakelet some more, but this will be more of the implementation and time to practice, and so you get a deeper dive into Wakelet. And this question comes up quite a bit, and that is, if you did not attend the part 1, can you still come to the part 2? And the answer to that is absolutely. Yes, it's better to go to the part 1 and the part 2, but these will be available in the PD portal, so you can always watch both of them if you miss one of them. So that is our April Tech Intels, and I am working on scheduling May and June right now, so stay tuned. I should have more information. So because my colleagues are awesome, Olga and Liz and Krista who do the webinar series, I want to just encourage you to think about the teachers in your own programs or a colleague, and if they're integrating a tech tool or using a website during classroom instruction, contact me, because we would love to have them present on a Tech Intel. And always looking for new presenters and learning how teachers are using a specific tool or website in the classroom. So email me if you have ideas. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Okay, next up we want to talk a little bit about Teacher Tuesday. This is the new webinar series that TWC has been promoting to really get teachers an opportunity to speak with TWC staff. And with everything going on, the topic for the next Teacher Tuesday is where we are now in adult education and literacy in Texas. And Anson Green and Mahalia Baldini from the state office will be leading that and giving teachers an opportunity to ask questions and to see what's going on at the state level. And I'm filling in, I'm doing Krista Mosher's slides for her today. She is working with the program, doing some just-in-time Teams training this afternoon. And then the next topic is we've been doing a series of webinars on the census. And so far we've had 4 webinars on the census. And since that's kind of wrapping up, we've got 2 more scheduled with Cynthia Peters from World Education, both about voting and the electoral process. I am meeting with Cynthia next week. We may decide to change up these topics a little bit in order to meet the needs of the programs and what is it you need right now. And we've done a number of webinars lately. I think everybody in this room has done multiple webinars. And we're going to continue to be identifying topics that your programs and your instructors, your administrators might need support on. So if you have topics that you would like to see us do another webinar on, please go ahead and put that in the chat, and I will take those in consideration as we're kind of planning what's happening right now. So let's take a break right here. Are there any questions?
I don't see anything in the chat pod at this time, but I'm sure they're busy typing. And I'm sure that we can, I could let you know if we have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. So next up, I'm going to pass it over to Tracy to talk about some upcoming TOTs.
Good afternoon. As y'all might remember, we had a lot of face-to-face training of trainer events scheduled for this spring. So we have scrambled, like all of you have with your classes, to figure out which ones we could offer virtually, if at all. And so we have decided that we can do 3 of the training of trainers in a virtual format. So the first one, and this is not out yet, stay tuned for registration details. That should be coming out in the next week, but we're going to do what we're calling Texas Style CASAS TOT. Because should be a 2-day event, we're going to spread it out over these 3 days, May 12th, May 13th, and May 14th. We'll send out all the details when we get them ready. And as you can imagine, lots of seat time, so we just be prepared for that if you're interested in this. We're doing our best to convert this virtually. I think it's very doable. I think the hardest part in some ways will be the fact that we can't see each other and do activities together and have a lot of seat time. So this one, I just want to remind y'all, we have, Glenda Rose and Jan Wizenot have revised some of the modules that we got from CASAS to make them more user-friendly, implementing practical strategies for test administration at the local program level, adding some activities in so that the training of trainers is more rich. There's a lot of pre and post things that trainers need to do with these with this CASAS training, so we wanted to go into more detail with all of that information. So stay tuned for that listserv announcement and the registration coming up. And PD coordinators, we will ask that you assign, or if you need someone to go through this training, that you would assign them to this training. You're not having to cover travel costs, but definitely you would want to cover their time to attend. Okay, next slide, please. Thanks, Beth. Okay, so we are going to do we have an upcoming TOT on April 29th and 30th. The registration has closed for this TOT, Integrating Digital Literacy Instruction for College and Career Success. We're excited about it. We have accepted about 20 trainers to this virtual format. We're keeping the group small because there's a lot of interaction with this TOT, and this will be an interesting event, but it's going to go well. We know it will. Once we're done with this TOT, though, in May, we will let programs know that you can request this local training, and we'll have trainers available to conduct them. And we're also kind of thinking that in addition to when we can get together face-to-face, we could hire the trainers to come in face-to-face, but we're also going to kind of set this up that trainers could do this virtually at a local program if this were to continue. It's not the best scenario for this training because there's a lot of hands-on teaching teachers how to use the digital literacy apps and that kind of thing, but we're going to address both at this TOT, so we're excited about it, and we'll announce that y'all can request this training for your program in May. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is coming up on May 15th. We will get the registration details out on this next week, just about getting ready to send that forward. Integrating services in adult education, vocational rehab, and workforce. So we will do a screening for this training like we did the digital literacy one, because we're looking for trainers who really know or have had good success with collaborating with other organizations besides their own, like with their workforce. And it may not be the workforce, but perhaps it's community resources or churches or schools where you have classes, but you're people who can really have the energy to make a deal and work together for the good of the students. So we will put out this announcement, and there'll be a screening process, a little bit of application, and we will do this virtually, and we'll kind of keep the group 20 to 30-ish. Again, because it's virtual, we want the trainers to be able to have the time and ask all the questions they need and address them and help them so that when they are asked to train, they're fully ready to do so. So any questions? That's all about the training of trainers. It may not be time for questions, sorry.
No, that's okay. We do have a question that I'd like to ask you before
Yes.
we move on to another presenter. From Tara, it's about virtual assessment. So will administering Best Plus 2.0 virtually, new guidelines we received, be offered?
Okay, that's a good question. And I just have a question to TWC about this. What we're wanting to do about the guidance that when we receive it, like we did from Cal for Best Plus, is we'd like to offer technical assistance webinars. CASAS, we're expecting information from CASAS soon. I was hoping it would be this week, but perhaps it will be next. And then we would like to do a technical assistance webinar for them and DRC as well. So yes, I sent an email today, as a matter of fact, asking TWC if we could, because Glenda is going to be the one who would do this. It'd be about an hour long. She's already practiced with a few students since we got that guidance from Cal, and she's got some really, she has figured out the best way to do it, and will give some recommended to demonstrate how to do it with Zoom, I guess, and that's what she's using. So yes, Tara, stay tuned for that. When I get permission from TWC, we'll try to get these on the one for Best Plus on the calendar the next week or two, I hope, and the same for CASAS and DRC. I hope that answers your question. That's a good question, because, yeah, that's a great question. And I wanted to point out that Robin said that the trainers that have been accepted for the Integrating Digital Literacy TOT, the acceptance notices are going out, emails are going out this afternoon. And we appreciate y'all's patience bearing with us as things, as y'all know, we've had to shift everything very quickly, and then it takes us some time to work through some of the logistics. And so anyway, we appreciate your patience with all of these events that are coming up and happening.
Hey, Tracy?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, this is Lori. Yeah, I did flag that up to Anson to be sure that he's aware, and if he gets back to me before this is over, I'll holler at you.
Okay, great, Lori. Thanks. Woohoo.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. And that's all that I have, unless there's more questions.
Okay, we have another follow-up from Tara. Can our local TOT offer a Best Plus 2.0 and refresher virtually to our staff? Would that be acceptable?
Yes, there was some guidance, and you probably saw it, that came out from Cal about offering Best Plus 2.0 virtually, the training virtually. So I haven't looked at that very closely, but since they've sent it out and they've approved that you can do that, I would say yes. Lori, you may want to chime in on that, but and we're going to try to set up a Best Plus 2.0, just a training, a virtual training through us, because we realize, I know I've had a couple of programs that have said they've lost their Best Plus 2.0 trainer. So we'll try to do that in May. Of course, May is coming up really fast. So that if that might help your program a bit, we will look at that, and we'll plan to offer one for anyone who might need it in the state. So.
Hey, Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Lori. Anson just buzzed me and said he's good with us going ahead and scheduling with Linda.
Perfect. Great news. So look for that to come soon to do this the names are all getting long, but the Best Plus 2.0 technical assistance remote training webinar, where she can just give some really good guidance from Cal and her experience on how to do virtual testing with Best Plus. We all just need to hope that CASAS and DRC will speed it up for their processes. So great, Lori. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy. I see
You're
there are a
welcome.
few questions, other questions that not specific to Tracy. So we got a question slide here and about 2 more slides. So if you can hold on, and I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll make sure that we address everything. So Anne Marie, I think the next couple of slides are yours.
Yes, thank you so much. So very, very excited to give you some more information about a new virtual conference that I introduced last month. And Train PD will be providing the first ever Texas Adult Education and Literacy virtual conference with an emphasis on targeting instruction. So before we go a little bit deeper into what the sessions are and who the presenters are, I want to kind of share the schedule with you. And it's going to be Friday, May 29th and Saturday, May 30th. And the sessions will start, session 1 starts at 9, and then there's going to be 3 sessions a day. So Friday there will be session 1, then session 2, and then session 3. And these are all different sessions, and they don't repeat. And the sessions are 75 minutes. Let's go back. Okay, well, we can stay here. That's good, Beth. They do not repeat, and all the sessions are 75 minutes to give the presenters a solid 65 minutes of presentation time. Now, I want to be clear that this conference is focused on, instructional strategies that work for instruction period, where this conference is not focusing on remote learning. It's focusing on tried and true research-based strategies for different areas, okay? So this is the part that I'm so excited to introduce for everybody. So on Friday, we're going to focus on instructional strategies in session 1, instructional strategies for ABE and HSE reading and writing. And Catalina Requenes from Region 1 Educational Service Center is going to be our presenter. And she has a background across ages, from the little ones all the way to adults as a reading interventionist. So I'm so excited that she's going to be presenting. Session 2, we'll have our very own Krista Mosier. She's going to be speaking to math reading strategies that can work in all areas, ABE, ASE, ESL. And then session 3, we have Liz Moya, who is going to do her very popular session that she does on brain-based learning. And then Saturday, again, the sessions start at 9 and end at 2:15. So on Saturday, session 4 will be instructional strategies for integrated ESL reading and writing with Claudette Session from Region 5 Educational Service Center. And then Claudette is going to come back and speak to strategies for ESL math. And then rounding out our sessions will be Denise Guckert. and she's going to talk about strategies for distance learning teachers. And the focus is on, helping students stay engaged and the strategies that you can use for students that are enrolled in distance learning and also attending regular classes. So sessions will be available in the PD portal hopefully in the next week or two, so stay tuned. And I'm just excited, and I'll continue to update you all about this conference on the Career Pathways listserv, and you will see the conference flyer grow and change every time there's an addition, and then keep looking in the PD portal as sessions are available. You will not register for the conference. You can register for a la carte, whatever session you want to go to. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I had myself muted. I'm sorry. We're at a question slide now, so I'm going to stop for a minute and go back through the chat and see if we can answer or try and answer some of the questions. So Linda Ross says, the majority of our students and instructors use Windows. A few use Mac. Is there any training or resource available that can help us with compatibility issues?
So this is Deb. When I have questions like that, Linda, honestly, I just go and Google it. I am going to show you a website here in just a minute. It's called Digital Learn, and they have a 14-minute course on using a Mac OS X system, but some of these websites, if you Google it, there might be something that you can find of a training that can tell you how Microsoft works with Mac and so on. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to share, but I'll show you a couple of websites that might have some stuff to help with that.
Thank you, Deb. Let's see, Tara, thanks. Another question, can our local TOT, oh, we already got that one, didn't we? Okay. Do all
There's
teachers
the one from Adulta.
Excuse me?
No, you got it.
Okay. Do all teachers who are using Zoom to teach classes required to take the DL Academy nuts and bolts? Lori, do you want to take that one? Lori, you're muted.
Well, thank you, because I was explaining to myself exactly how that works. So, yes, the modules 1 and 3 are required, but we've waived those through May 15th. So we've given you plenty of time to be able to access those. And we're also looking at making a few modifications to Module 3, but it'd be great if you could go ahead and get 1 down. I think that's really most beneficial to getting your feet wet in distance learning. But yeah, they are required, but we've waived the requirements for a while to allow for people to take their time and get things going first off.
Thank you, Lori. We have another comment from, I believe it's Thelma. The trainer that we use for BEST has agreed to do a refresher and a BEST literacy virtually for our staff. And then we've got something from Lupe. At the last TWC call, we were told that although Cal did release virtual testing guidance, we were to wait for TWC guidance per Anson's email yesterday because they had to clear it with DOE. So do not go off of that.
You know what? Let me double check with him, but my understanding is he said we could move forward with the training. He didn't say we could go ahead and start testing immediately. He okayed what we had asked him was, could we go ahead and have Glenda do the remote testing webinar? And his response was yes, but to my understanding, we're not to go out and begin testing immediately, no.
All right. Thank you, Lori.
That makes sense. I'll see if I can get a response for him before the end of the call today.
Okay. And thanks, Randy, for letting us know you're adult ed. Welcome to the party today. Okay. I think I got anything. Liz, did I miss any of them?
Nope. Everything has been answered.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I appreciate your help watching the chat.
One more question.
When is the remote testing webinar? I'm sorry I came in late. They're not scheduled yet, Tiffany. We will send out as soon as we have more information and dates and times. We will share that out with the PD coordinators list. All right. Next up, the next few slides are for Deb Hargrove. Deb?
Thanks, Beth. Hi, everyone. So as you probably surmised by now, the May Technology and Distance Learning Symposium has been postponed. We're very sad, but we are in talks right now with Lori to possibly offer some of those sessions virtually, similar to the AMRE's virtual instructor conference. We're going to try and put some of those for a virtual session where everyone can join us. So we're working on that, so don't fret about that. Next slide, please. We have received the Distance Learning Handbook from the IDEAL Consortium. We went ahead and printed a number of copies, enough for each funded program. And we were hoping to get those out. We had them printed, and we wanted to send those out to the DL leads at each program. And so we had our staff trying to get hold of them to get their home address to mail them. We only got about 15 or 20. So, and now we're at shelter in place. So we have a link to the Distance Learning Handbook. It is on the TCAL site that I'll show you here in just a minute. But know that when we get back to our offices, that we'll start sending these back out to the programs at their program address. So that's just an update on the Distance Learning Handbook that we had hoped to get out to you in the meantime, but now we're just going to have to wait. This is the TCAL website. I tell you, we're going back and forth between WebEx and Zoom, so now I got to remember how to share. Oh, could you give me the ball, please? And I'm going to share my screen. Thank you.
Okay, you should be set.
Thank you. All right, so I should be sharing my web browser. Everybody sees the TCAL page? Just a confirmation for me, please.
No.
Not yet.
No, you're not seeing it. Okay.
Yeah, just a gray box.
Okay. Let's try again. Share.
There it goes. We could see it now.
Now you can see it?
Now we can, yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, the first one was just a slide, the static slide, but I wanted to go live. So those of you who haven't been here in a while, we've got the regular TCAL website that we had redesigned and kicked off, but with collaboration with TWC, we've got this new section of our website called COVID-19 and Distance Education Updates. We have two sections. The main section is here. Click here for AEL providers. And then we have a section for students as well. So if you click on AEL providers, you'll see an introductory comment from Anson. You can always check to see what date that we've made our last updates. And then I'll scroll down to show you the plethora of information that we have. But what you'll see is that we have hot links up here on the top right. So you'll see that we've got a link to the frequently asked questions that Anson shares with the program directors. We've got links to the section of planning for distant and remote learning. And that's where you will find that IDEAL handbook. Just click on that link right there. We have a link to the DL Curriculum Volunteer Help Desk. And I wanted to bring up a quick comment about that. We have reached out to our volunteers and asked them if they'd been contacted by folks, and they have, so I'm very happy about that. Some of them are asking questions about the DL curriculum. that they're assigned to, but we are getting quite a few questions on just basic digital literacy skills. So we're finding that, and I think that's something we all knew was going to happen. We've got quite a few folks in our field that just haven't had the time to learn those digital literacy skills. So what we're asking is that each program take some time to find some time to either send their teachers to some online training for digital literacy, or to take some time to do your own Zoom meeting and teach them some digital literacy skills. So what we have is a few that I want to show you. The first one is here called digitallearn.org, and I'm going to put those in the chat pod. Let me find my link to the chat. And I grabbed them right here. Digitallearn.org, what I like about them is they have the topic, but they also have how long it is to take it. So these are short little snippets on simple items, one at a time, that might help some of your teachers. Basically how to search. Here's some information about a Mac, Linda, that I was talking about. Some Windows, PC, basic safety online. There's even job skill stuff, how to be productive, and so on. So this one is digitallearn.org. The other one is GCF Learn Free. It's called GCF Global right now. But they also have a number of training topics. I'm going to click on the technology section. They also have Microsoft Office, email, internet, and they also have computers. So when I click on computers, it brings up 6 options. Someone can do a tutorial on just computer basics. It might be, how do I right-click? What does it mean to right-click on something? Or how do I create a folder? How do I save something to my desktop? These are hopefully some of the items that they could see if they participate in some of these tutorials. We also have the Digital Literacy Toolkit, and you'll find that on the TCAL website. If you go to the under Institutes, put your mouse over it, it goes down to Distance Learning and Technology. If you'll click on that button, you'll notice you're at the Digital Learning and Technology Integration page, and under Helpful Links, we have a number of things, and I'd sent this to George. He might not have had a chance. Oh, there we go. I had to refresh my page. Here's the link to GCF. Here's a link to another great one called North Star that I'll show you in just a moment. A link to Digital Learn. And then there's a link to ISTE standards as well. So we have the Digital Literacy Toolkit that also has Internet Basics and Computer Basics. Denise Guckert, our colleague Denise Guckert, spent a lot of time working on this project. And so we have it set up by chapter, or you can download all of them at once. So that's the Digital Literacy Toolkit. How did I get to that? I'm at the TCAL webpage. I'm going to Institutes and Distance Learning. Free Digital Literacy Toolkit. Looks like Anne-Marie also put it in the chat pod. So we've got a number of items here on the web page for your students. If you weren't on the call this morning with Anson's group, he talked about this page quite a bit. I wanted to share it with you as well. Depending on what language your students speak, here are some COVID fact sheets for them. Again, this page scrolls down a lot, but we have the hyperlinks here. Let me move my chat box over. Here's something new that was just added. Lori found this, and we added it yesterday, I believe. 10 study habits of successful online students. This is something you might want to share with your teachers so they can share with their students. We have some unemployment insurance information, stuff for their family, productive things to do. And I've also included what I'm calling Take Time for You. And I have this on our AEL page as well. You know, we had a staff meeting, part of a staff meeting yesterday and a full hands-on staff meeting last week. And this is all new to some of us working from home. And we've been working from home for a couple of weeks now. I think this is week 3 or week 4. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding that I'm very productive, but that's because I don't know when to stop. So please make sure you find some time to take care of you. If it's just watching a video clip of a 7-minute way to reduce anxiety, some breathing exercises that you can share with your kids, meditation, yoga. I found this 15-minute progressive muscle relaxation yesterday. It's wonderful. The guy just is very smooth in his talking. It's got nice meditation music behind it, and it just helps you slow your breathing and start relaxing your muscles. So I tried it yesterday at the end of the day, and it was wonderful. So I recommend that you guys try and remember to take care of you also. I think that's it for me. I know we're towards getting to the end, and we've got some other stuff to share. Does anybody have any questions for me about the website?
There was one question that was at least partially answered about the Digital Learn and what's the other one? GCS?
GCF Learn Free,
Do you have to have an
account? No.
Yeah, okay.
Nope. Everything is free. And there's also a North Star one that I forgot to show you. If I could do that real quickly. I forgot, and I wanted to show it. Hold on, guys. I want to share content, share that screen again. Okay, let me go back to the website. I'm going back to the COVID pages. And it's right here. So North Star is something that we have for teachers that we've been sharing with you guys, but this one is available to everybody in the public domain. It's just a basic computer skills course, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to put this link in the chat pod as well while we continue the webinar, so you can grab this and share this with your teachers and your students. It's open to anybody. And that is it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Deb. So many amazing resources, and I know that you have been working really hard, and Lori as well, to get all of that up and going. Liz, could you make me presenter again, please? So Lorraine has a question. Will the digital learning trainings count toward PD hours? I know my teachers will ask. Are you still on the line, Lori?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, that would count as professional development.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up is we've got some PD Portal course updates. So Laura, I think you're up.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I've got a quick slide here on due dates with PD Portal courses. So we have had, hold on, I've got 2 different things I'm going to address. First off, we did have a report from someone in the field yesterday that if you were assigning PD, or maybe it was 2 days ago, it's all a blur. If you were assigning PD with a due date, there was a period of time where the portal was being very persnickety, and it was not actually applying that due date. So if in the last couple of days you have used the due date feature when assigning professional development, you might want to go back and peek at your staff transcripts to make sure that the due date was applied. And then to piggyback off of that, we are asking that if you assign a PD Portal course with a due date to a large number of your staff members, can you just shoot us an email at pdportal@tamu.edu to give us a heads up? We have been caught unaware over the past couple of days. There was a program that had a handful of people who were trying to get through a course by a certain date. And so we were getting a lot of panicky emails the night before about, I need to get this finished now, it's due tomorrow. And we just weren't, we were able to help them out, but we weren't prepared to kind of be proactive in helping them out. So, again, absolutely take advantage of that due date feature to help keep your staff accountable. We will help do what we can to get them through, but if you have a large number of staff who are going to have something due at one time, just let us know so we can kind of be ready and be prepared to help everyone out. I feel like I had one more thing to add to that, and I don't remember what it was. It flew out of my head. Well, I've got another slide in a few minutes. If I remember, I will let y'all know. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Here we go. In terms of due dates, just so you guys are aware, you are welcome to assign them, but it is up to the program to enforce them. We at TCAL are not going to do anything to enforce any sort of due date. We will help support the teachers in getting them through the course, but we're not going to keep track of whether or not folks are meeting their due dates. That's a program level situation. That's all I have on due dates right now, and I think Katie's up next.
Thank you, Laura. Miss Katie?
Hi, everybody. We have some awesome new courses available in the PD portal. These include all of the ones you see here on the screen. We've got, I'm not going to read them, off specifically, but we have a Manager Monday in there. We've got a couple of Teacher Tuesdays, Workforce Wednesday. We have one of our PBS Learning Part 2, Tech and Tells, and then we have two of the Census 2020 in there. And this is just part of what we have. I wanted to remind you that if you or your staff missed any of our live webinars, don't fret. It will become available as a curriculum in the PD portal within a few weeks. Our typical turnaround time is about 4 to 6 weeks. So you can always check that out, or feel free to email us at pdportal@tamu.edu, and we can kind of let you know when to expect it coming up. One more on new courses, the next slide. All right, so I wanted to kind of separate these out because they're a little different. So as our circumstances have evolved the last couple of weeks, as we're all aware of, the PD portal team has prioritized the following live webinars and turned them around quickly into courses. And I'm talking like super duper fast. So we have turned these around really quick, and they are all in the PD portal, I'm very proud to say. It's I'm taking my classroom virtual, now what? An overview of Zoom as a virtual classroom tool, Engage, taking your class online and live, Just in Time, WebEx for Teachers, Creating Effective Educational Videos, and Planning a Flipped Approach to Online Learning. We hope that you find them helpful since we are pretty much learning solely online these days. And if you have any questions about navigating the PD portal or these courses, please feel free to reach out. Now, in saying that, I wanted to kind of just bring everyone aware to some issues, I guess, or some concerns here. We have been answering hundreds of emails and phone calls. There's about 3 of us who work solely in the PD portal email, and at times we can barely keep up. So we do run into technical issues, or people do run into technical issues as they are completing PD in the portal. Yes, there are glitches from time to time, especially with some of our older courses, but I'm going to tell you most of the time these issues are about basic tech skills and participant connection or network issues. So unfortunately, we're not able to help fix that. So we are really hoping that you could help us out by just sharing some information with your staff. And as you know, we are always happy to help, but right now we just don't have a lot of spare time, and we want to make sure that all of these issues get addressed at some point, and we're able to help people. So one of the big ones that comes up often is this mysterious spinning circle or wheel there on your screen. I think a lot of people believe that this is an issue with the portal or the course, but it's not. This is an issue with connection. And there's not much we can do except just give troubleshooting strategies. And some participants don't like that we can't fix that issue. And so we are hoping that you can kind of just maybe communicate with them. Hey, if you have any issues, if your computer's freezing, here are some things that the portal team has, asked that we share with you. You can restart your computer. We suggest that all web browsers and other programs on the computer or device are closed while you're using the curriculum player. It just seems to run a little bit more efficiently. Another thing here is since we have so many people across the nation online, it might be a good idea to hook up directly to the modem and not necessarily use Wi-Fi or hotspots or things like that. And then, of course, the other thing I want to mention is Google Chrome. We still have a lot of people who don't realize how important using Google Chrome is. It is the most compatible web browser out there. And so those are honestly the 4 things that we are continually telling people. So if you could help get that out there, we would appreciate that so much. Now, when I do share this information with people, I also provide a link, which is a PDF that you can see there on your screen that's highlighted in yellow. I'm going to go ahead and put that link where you can find the direct document in the chat pod, and you can take a look. But we do have tons of resources like that available. And I just wanted to say thank you so very much, and we really appreciate it.
Before we go to the next slide, Katie, I just want to acknowledge that there's some comments in the chat that we'll address. We've got a Q&A slide coming up here in just a minute.
Perfect. Okay. There, I'm sorry. Okay, one last thing. We have, as you all, again, are aware, we have hosted several high participant webinars recently. We just ask that if you can, kindly remind your staff that it will take a couple of days to get their certificates of completion. Typically, it's not very long, but with the mass amount of people that have been attending, it has taken us 5, 6, 7 days. I put up a pop-up in the PD portal as people log in, and that's helped some, but we still have people that are very frantic and needing their certificate of completion, and we let them know the same thing that's kind of here on your screen as a pop-up, is that it takes us a little bit longer. We've got a lot of people attending these webinars, and we will get it to you as soon as possible. So I just wanted to draw that to your attention as well.
All right. Thank you, Katie. And then next up is Miss Laura.
Hi again, everyone. So I just wanted to throw up a reminder for everyone about reports. I know that the end of the program year is going to be here before we know it. And now is the time to really kind of start thinking about looking at what your folks have taken and what they're still going to need to take. And I think that someone else on our team is going to speak a little bit more about that in just a minute. But a tool that is available to you guys to help with that are the reports. So remember, this spring, we have transitioned over to Reporting 2.0, and we have made transcript reports and active staff reports available to you guys in the PD portal. I don't want to go through the whole Reporting 2.0 spiel. I just wanted to throw out the reminder, and we've got the QR code on the screen. And also, I just put the Wakelet link in the chat pod. If you need a refresher on Reporting 2.0, how to get to those transcript reports and filter them, use them, go check out the Wakelet. It's going to have some PDFs on there for how to access the reports and which reports you can use for which purpose. Or you can go into the PD Coordinator's Community of Practice. In the topic folder called How Do I Requests, you will see a tagged video that is called Reporting 2.0. And that is one of the recordings from the webinars that we did back in February that'll give you all the information you want about Reporting 2.0. So if there is a different report that we can create that will help you guys as we start to think about closing out the year, let us know. We are here and we are more than happy to help. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. All right, so we're at a Q&A slide. So I want to address a couple of things that have come up. One thing, there was kind of a question about some of these digital literacy resources. And some, depending on where you go and what you do, some will have a certificate and some will not. But it's up to you at the local program how you're going to document that time. If you choose to award PD, then it's up to you to figure out how you're going to document it and then have it available in the case of a monitor. One suggestion that I saw come through was having staff take a picture of the beginning and the end as they're going through something that doesn't have a certificate. But that's a decision that will be up to you at the local program level. And then there was an important comment from Lori. Anson confirmed that we cannot begin administering the Best Plus 2.0 just yet. Hopefully in the next few days, we will be releasing further guidance. Thank you. So thank you for that clarification, Lori. Were there other questions, Liz, that we needed to address?
No, ma'am.
I see that Deb notes that though she's hooked up directly to her modem, there are folks that have two or more people working from home. And let's throw in a couple of students, children that are also trying to get online, and all of a sudden you've got 3 or 4 people trying to do a Zoom meeting at the same time, and it will slow down your connection. Okay, no other questions. I'll go ahead and move us forward. We're at our hour, but we've only got just a couple of slides left. So as Laura alluded, we just put this in here this time of year as we start thinking about the end of the program year and the last quarter to be looking at your staff professional development to see who needs what between now and the end of June. We are, again, offering a lot of things right now. There's a lot of stuff in the portal. If there are things that you need that you cannot find, please shoot me an email. I have a running list of topics that I really feel, I'm just trying to listen, and when I hear about something, I write it up. So I appreciate all of you, and we as a team really, really want to do everything we can to support you. And okay.
We have a question from Marie.
Okay, Marie, what is your question?
Says, I have a question about how to document. I am working from home and don't have the documents, especially Taylee, and I believe this is in reference to loading it into Teams to give the staff the PD credit.
Well, maybe Lori can help address this one because it goes to documentation. And
I'm still not sure I understand what she's asking, though. Marie, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I am working from home, and everything is at my building in my room. Everything from Taylee. We have a few of our instructors that have done things outside of our regular system, that all of that documentation is there in that building, and I have no way to get to it. And I've asked to be able to go to work for a couple of hours, but they said no. And I know that we're not going to be allowed back into the buildings for at least another month or two, we're being told. What do we do about documenting PD hours when we don't have access to that information?
Well, and this is Lori. I think this will come up quite a bit in many areas. The ISDs are closed, and some of the Even some of our colleges are closed where you can't get to the information. And we're going to tell you pretty much what we've been telling the directors. In those events where you just can't get that information any other way, you're going to use your best judgment and go with that until you have the opportunity to get your hands on the documents you need. If it comes to it, what we would do where like it shows someone's not meeting their PD requirements because you can't get those forms, we would have to later make an exception and go back in and document then. We're hoping that's not what happens across the board, but I think we'll see it in more than one case for sure. If you have anything else you could go on, their statement of how much time it was, or information that you can get from Taylor, or if they're getting a certificate from another webinar or something like that, you would obviously want to go with that. If you just don't have anything, then you're just going to leave it for the time being and document that you're not entering it because you don't have access to it.
And there was a comment from Tiffany Lee, depends on what it is, but if the instructor has the documentation, could they scan it and email it to you? In the case of Taylor, for instance, they probably just handed over that yellow, what color was it this year? Orange sheet, and so they wouldn't necessarily have it in their possession. But certainly if it's something they did, that's an option. Thank you for that, Tiffany. Are there other questions as we kind of wrap up for the day? And thank you, Lori, for helping address that one. Liz, do you see any other questions?
Wait a minute, I see one.
See the comments.
I see one from Tara. To avoid submitting exemptions, when will Teams get fixed to allow us to roll over aides and data entry staff with 3 PD hours in the new school year? Oh, in the new program year. Here, let me put that.
Can you say that again, Deb?
Yeah, I'm going to copy it and put it in the chat pod. I didn't realize it was a private message. Hold on. There we go. Tara, do you want to unmute and ask it?
That's a great question. I'd love to be able to answer that, but I don't know. And quite honestly, that as far as things that we're fixing in Teams, that is not the highest of our priorities.
Okay, I think that's it. We've gone over by about 7 minutes, but I kind of get the feeling that we all needed to be together today and have an opportunity to check in with each other and ask questions that are on our heads. Please know, again, we're here to support you. And if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us. And thank you for spending your afternoon with us. And we will see you next month online. Thank you, everybody. I'll leave the room open for a little bit just to see if there's any other questions that come through. Hang in there. Yes, thank you. Hang in there.
Bye, everybody.
Tiffany asked, will you put the digital literacy skills TOT training online that was scheduled at the end of the month? It was nice to hear everyone for a short minute. Are you still here, Tiffany?
Yes, I am.
Yes, we are.
Hi.
Yes, we are moving it to an online format, and the people who have been The applications have been gone through, and they should receive a confirmation email this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, they just went out. This is Robin. Hi, Tiffany. You should
Hi,
have-
Robin.
Yep. How are you?
I'm good.
They
How are
just
you?
went out, so
Okay.
good. Check your email, okay? And it
Oh.
gives all the details.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Sorry, I came
Happy
in late.
Easter.
I was Zooming with a class. So I had one ear in the Zoom and one ear in the WebEx. So I was
Well,
doing both at the same time.
We thank you, Tiffany, for all you've done.
Oh, you're
Mhm.
welcome. You're welcome. It was nice to hear everybody. Y'all.
And Beth, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Give me 1 second to save the chat.
I already have it.
You got it? Okay, good.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I think we can close the room. Thank you, Liz.
Yes, ma'am.